Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, hope you're doing well. Today you join me back down the farm again. I've made another silly purchase. I put a cheap proxy bid in thinking I might buy a nice little car for Sophie to sell from home. But I'm not sure. I put a proxy bid of £200 in, I've won this car and I haven't actually really looked at it yet. Josh has just dropped it down here at the farm, so you're kind of checking this one out with me. So I'm going to pull it out of where it's parked and we'll get a proper look around this thing. Josh has just parked it here next to this car, which the less we say about, the better probably. We won't talk about that. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. One thing we can say for sure, it's probably not going to be my best purchase ever. Including all the fees, this came to about 338 quid. To be fair, it looks fairly straight. It definitely is a good valet. The headlights look knackered and the mileage is 171,000, but you know, there may still be a car here, you never know. I think it has got MOT, I wouldn't have bought it if it hasn't. But I guess the only way to get a real idea of what this car's like is to run a vehicle score check. So I'm going to head to vehiclescore.co.uk and I'm going to enter our reg, which is KU03FYM, and see what this car scores out of 1 to 999. Oh dear, this is the worst vehicle score I have ever seen. 47. 47 out of 999. It even tells you really bad. Okay, so let's have a look. Looking good. It's had a long-term owner. Well, that's good. Average yearly mileage is good. The bad bits, it's got a low MOT pass rate, over 20 comments on recent MOTs, over 2 failed comments on recent MOTs. The vehicle's over 10 years old and the vehicle is over 150,000 miles. Yes, I didn't really do a lot of in-depth checking on this car before I bought it and put my proxy bid in. What I should have done was probably run a vehicle score check and it would have kind of put all the information right there in front of me. And then if I really wanted to check it out even further, if it was a car I really wanted, despite having a really bad score, I could do an ultimate report for £8.97 or a salvage plus report for £2.97. And if I used the code shiftingmetal15, I would have got 15% off as well. But I didn't, so let's have a look at what we've bought and find out how bad this really is. So we'll just start at the front and work our way around. The bonnet has got a lot of fallout on it. It would be quite satisfying to clean this, I think. We've got a lot of like moss, things like that. The paintwork on the whole looks okay, if a little dull, but we have got a stone chip that's turned into some rust there. The headlights probably wouldn't even pass an MOT. They're so kind of hazed over now that I don't expect the beam image, as they call it, would be projecting correctly. We've got wheel trims on steel wheels. We've got an A+ tyre that looks quite old, but actually has got good tread. Bit of moss in the arch, but that's easily rectified. We're missing our cap for our side repeater here. Then down the side of the car, doesn't look too bad. Certainly not for this age and mileage. Can't really see anything that's jumping out to me as being particularly bad. There is a faint like key mark there, but I can just about catch it with my nail, but I think you could definitely polish the worst of that out. Around the back we have got an Event Futurum HP. Again, loads of tread, so that's good to see. That actually looks like a quite decent tyre. Moving around the back we can see that this is a Primera S, or in fact if you're reading the badges, a Creamers. Loads of moss. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It looks like it's out of some kind of apocalyptic movie. This would definitely benefit from a good valet, and it would look 10 times better. Because as I say, the bodywork's still looking pretty good, to be honest. Especially for, what is it, 20 years old and 170,000 miles. This tyre, we've got another Futurum HP event. Again, loads of tread on there. That's looking really good. Just lots more moss. All right, we've got a little bit of rust showing through on our door pillars here where they've got a little bit of trim on, but a bit of cleaning up and a bit of wrap tape or something around that. That would look a million times better. And then the front, what have we got here? We've got an A+. Loads of tread again. You'd have no problems whatsoever with going through an MOT with these tyres. So whether they've been done fairly recently or not, I don't know. Back around the front again. This corner looks good. Basically, just wants a good valet. I've picked up on another couple of stone chips that have gone rusty here, but on the whole, not bad at all. I'm going to check exactly how long the current MOT is on this actually. Looking back at our MOT history on the vehicle score check, it passed on the 16th of November 2022, so we've got MOT till what, the 15th, 16th of November this year, so not tons of MOT left, but it has got some. And on that MOT, at 170,936 miles, it had near side front outer drive shaft joint, CV boot severely deteriorated, offside front CV boot deteriorated, offside rear wheel slightly distorted. So which one's that? Offside rear over here, this driver's back wheel, it's got a bit of a buckle in it. Front inner brake pads are wearing thin, near side rear suspension component mounting prescribed area corroded, but not excessively, so it's got some rust in the back. Front cross member corroded, bit of rust in the front. Offside rear anti-roll bar linkage has slight play, so just drop link, not the end of the world. Near side rear road wheel, so the other rear wheel has also got a bit of a buckle in it. It's got an oil leak, but not excessive. And offside rear suspension component mounting prescribed area is corroded, so a bit more rust on the back. Oh, an advisory for it's got sill covers fitted. Yes, they're from the factory, but you sometimes get an advisory like that on the MOT because perhaps, especially if they think the car might be rusty, they say they can't check it because the MOT tester is not allowed to remove parts in order to check a car. So if you've got sill covers, they can't take them off to check and prod to see whether they're rust. So, I mean, there's a fair chance there could be some rust in there as well. Let's have a quick look inside and then we'll pop the bonnet and see what's happening with the engine. It looks like we've got one key, very old school looking Nissan key. Central locking does seem to work. It's lock and unlock. So that is unlock. Oh, it's very sticky. It's gone like gummy. It's beautiful in here. Get a look at that, Toby. Have a look at the driver's seat here. I think half of the previous owner's still in here. On the plus side, it looks like we do have sat-nav. That's quite fancy. Our gear knob is twisted off on a complete random angle. Don't ask me why that is. We've got our V5 here, but no service book in with that. And usually when it comes from auction, all that paperwork's kept together, which makes me think this doesn't have any service history whatsoever. But let's have a look in the glove box, see if there's anything in there. And we've got a little trim panel here, which would be for this, covering a fuse box. We've got a switch there for something. I don't know what that was for. Maybe that was for parking sensors or something. Spare bulbs. Oh, we've even got a touch-up set. Colour and lacquer, so we can definitely sort out those chips. And what have we got in our folder? Warranty booklet and maintenance record. Is there actually going to be any service history in here? Warranty certificate. Oh, we do have some service history. That's a bonus because I don't think I knew that it had that. So 1, 2, 3, 9. 14 stamps. No, that's not a stamp there, is it? 13 stamps. That's where the Howard's Nissan has soaked through before. So what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Nissan stamps, 1 Mitsubishi main dealer stamp, strangely, and then it has gone on to have independent garage services from there, all in Weston-super-Mare. So this is actually a local car, and if I have a look at the logbook, place your guesses now for how many owners this car's had on 170,000 miles and 20 years old. 2 previous keepers, pretty much unheard of for a car on this sort of mileage. So that does help our case a little bit. Let's just hope that the rest of what's wrong with this car is mainly cosmetic, aside from the MOT failures. So our lock and unlock button works, but only if the ignition's turned on. Oh no, it's decided it will work now. The ashtray looks fairly clean, as does our cigarette lighter actually. I don't think that's ever really seen any heavy use. And it doesn't smell of smoke in here, so it's got that going for it at least. Let's turn the ignition on and see if our sat-nav works. Well, if it does work, it's far too complicated for me to work out. It might be that it needs a navigation disc. Let's see what's in the... No, I don't think it's got a navigation disc in here, and I haven't seen one anywhere about. So it looks like all we've got left with is our radio controls and our trip computer, and it says that it's been averaging 27.1 miles per gallon, which isn't particularly impressive, is it? As I say, the front seat is absolutely disgusting. It's a mix of just grime and sweat and whatever in there, but actually the other seats don't look too bad. Even in the back is not too bad, and yes, it wants a good hoover, but frankly 20 years and 170,000 miles down the line, not too bad. Will the boot work? Yes, it does. Right, we've got our parcel shelf, but it looks like it does still work, hopefully. Only on one side. We've lost our string on the other. Look at that though, still got all the toolkit and everything in there. Have we got a spare wheel? Yes we do, look at that. How good is our tyre on there? Looking pretty old actually, but it would get you out of trouble in a pinch. The real question is our first aid kit in here? No. I probably could have guessed that. So, actually, cosmetically, not looking very good, but interior-wise, not so bad so far. Let's pop the bonnet and see what it's like in the engine bay. Right. Where does that go? No, that's not it. Here we are. Doesn't look too bad under here. I'm certainly not looking at a pile of oil and grease. A few bits looking a bit rusty, but considering our MOT records, that's not surprising. Let's see if we can get the oil cap off and check that. Oh, I thought I was going to have to admit defeat again then, but luckily not. Actually, that oil looks pretty clean. Yes, it looks brown and a bit dirty, but it's not black, completely black and thick would be a sign that it's not been changed in a while. I think this probably has been looked after to a degree. Actually looks quite clean in our expansion tank, but it does look like coolant is a little bit low. It looks like it's just above the minimum, so it could do with a little top up, but I don't think that's anything necessarily to worry about. So, other than wanting to get this on a ramp so far and check out any potential rust issues and address those, not a huge amount of concern, but I think we're going to have to take it out for a spin and find out how it drives, because that could be the real deciding factor. Right, let's fire it up and see how it sounds. Not too bad actually. Maybe a bit of squeaky belt noise. We can live with a bit of fan belt noise, but otherwise it sounds quite healthy. So far, all of our gauges seem to work. Let's see if our radio works. That's the most important thing. At least we can listen to some tunes while we get recovered by the AA. Seems quite peppy, actually. Brakes seem okay. We'll just pull onto the driveway of my neighbours that I hate. Let this car by. Oh, a bit juddery, I'm pulling away there. It's pretty agricultural sounding, I have to say. It's not exactly the smoothest petrol engine in the world, but nothing really worrying. I can't tell if the clutch is a bit rough or that's just my bad driving, getting used to it. But we're doing the national speed limit now with a gear to go, so she's got a bit of life left in her. Try the tracking out. Not too bad. We are going slightly to the left, but this road has got serious camber on it. I actually think that's tracking all right. Just a man having a pee there. Standard. This is actually surprising me at how well it's driving. I was expecting the suspension to be rattling away like crazy, but actually it seems all right. Try a few potholes. Silky smooth, really. Bit of a shifting metal / Joe trivia for you. The big grey house there is built on the piece of land where I was actually born. They had to demolish the house after I was born, kind of like an exorcism, and then they built that great big thing. Wonder if our air conditioning works, if I can figure out how it works. Oh, there's air conditioning. Jesus, this is complicated. So oh, that's temperature. So ask that to come down. The air conditioning is on. Is our Japanese reliability going to give us chilled air? How do I turn the blowers up? Jesus, you need like an engineering degree to figure this out. If at any point you see a button that you think I might need, Toby, just shout it out, because I cannot figure it out for the life of me. What the hell? Oh, we use these. 2 and 5 is your up and down for the fans. Logic. Well, it's coming out cool air, but I don't think the air conditioner is actually working as it should do. I don't know what we're going to do here with this. We might have to do some off-roading here, Toby. Exactly what this type of car is for. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this car. I thought it was going to be absolutely destroyed, but it doesn't seem too bad. Mechanically or cosmetically, really. Both could probably need some sorting out, but, you know, could be a lot worse for 300 quid. What I don't know is if there's actually going to be any profit left in this car, so I'm going to kind of head over to Auto Trader and see what sort of money these things make, because my Nissan Primera knowledge isn't great, to be honest. So we know it's an S. That's narrowed it down to 6. What happens if we try and make it a 2003? There's 1 for sale. £795 on 103,000 miles. Ours is on considerably more than that. But otherwise, it looks practically identical. So, It's not looking good for us really, is it, making a tidy profit out of this one? Because that is quite an okay looking car, and ours hasn't got the best history, has it? Especially as we know from our vehicle score, it's, what was it, 47 out of 1,000? That's pretty bad. So I guess my best hope really is that this video does really well and I make lots of nice ad revenue from it. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. It really helps out, probably more than you realise, because I keep buying stupid cars like this. I think realistically we might be able to get 500 quid for this if we clean it up, which probably means we're just going to be making no money on it whatsoever. But who knows? Sophie amazes me sometimes with the money she can get for cars, so she might do okay at this. By the time we've tidied it up, made it look presentable, maybe do a service on it, we'll get it on the ramp and check out mechanically how it seems. There might still be some money in it, but in the meantime, let's just enjoy it. So there we have it. By no means my best ever purchase, but actually not as bad as it could have been. And, you know, if there isn't a chance of profit, I think we could at least get our money back on it. And I'll try and learn from my mistakes putting proxy bids on things without checking. If you've enjoyed the video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please do subscribe, and make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And other than that, we'll see you next time.